So my name is Erica Lee, and I'm a student at St. Thomas More College at the University of Saskatchewan. I was asked here to speak today because of my involvement with Idle No More and my propensity to complain about things a lot, aka I'm an activist. So with Idle No More, I've had a lot of opportunities to travel and speak to people. And they will always ask me, what do you want to be called? In your bio, what do you want to be called? Do you want to be called an activist or a youth leader? And I've taken to being called a student. It's something that's really simple, but it's something that has so much meaning to me. As the first person in my family who's been able to complete high school, who's had that opportunity. So the fact that I'm in university right now is a major source of pride for me, and something that I think a lot of students take for granted. Finding a sense of belonging is really hard sometimes. If you're a person of color or an indigenous person, or an immigrant or a refugee, or if you're a woman, if you're queer, if you're poor, disabled, or if you have issues with mental health, it's hard to find your place because so often you're in places where you know you're not welcome. A lot of you will know I'm passionate about changing the Bedford Road Redmond name. Logo, which is the high school I went to here in Saskatoon. Has anyone ever been to the Chicago O'Hare Airport? Anybody? Kind of random. Are you from Chicago? Is that why you're clapping? I love that airport, man. Yeah, it's a good airport. Okay. So anyway, I went to Chicago O'Hare Airport, and I forgot, ironically enough, Chicago Blackhawks. And so the second I stepped off the plane into the airport, there was like a restaurant with Chicago Blackhawks stuff, people wearing jerseys, Chicago Blackhawks, this on the wall, and that's a computer screen down there, so you can get sort of a sense of the size of this thing. And these were all over the walls. And so I felt like I had to do something. I guess I was just in a particularly complaining mood. So I took out a piece of paper and a pencil and scribbled a big sign as best as I could, "People not mascots," and stuck it up there. And this is in an airport, an American airport, so I was scared. Have you ever done something where you're like so scared and you know you're doing the right thing, but because you've been told that you need to obey certain rules, you're shaking and you're scared and you don't want to do it. And you're like, I'm going to get in trouble for this. And it was a pretty big risk. I actually called my mom before I did it and said, oh, they have these logos. Should I do this? And she's like, don't. You'll get like detained or something. So I did it anyway, obviously. Sorry, Mom. And then I posted this picture. And so to me, even though that got taken down probably 30 seconds later, I put it up on the wall, ran to catch my plane so I wouldn't get like caught. And even though it got taken down probably 30 seconds later, to me that was about reclaiming a space. And that's what changing the Bedford Road Redmond logo is to me too. So this silly little sign, what does that have to do with the great principles of Idle No More? This is the image that people see in their heads when they think of Idle No More. They think of crowds of people marching down streets with signs, noisemakers, drummers, and it's a powerful moment. This is a rally in Ottawa back in January 2013. What they are most of all is reclaiming space. This is an action that Idle No More did at Midtown Plaza Mall here in Saskatoon back in December. We had a flash mob round dance and hundreds of people filled the mall from top to bottom. We shut down stores, and if you take a minute to appreciate the beauty of a bunch of Indians shutting down a shopping mall on stolen Cree land, to protest Idle No More. And John Noon here, who opened us up with a song, thank you for that, was one of the drummers. Reclaiming space isn't always about these massive actions, as beautiful as they are and as As much as I wish I could just capture these memories, these experiences that I've had through Idle No More in my head forever. All the little things matter too, and all the little things are just as beautiful. For example, getting dressed in the morning and going to school. So this is to Neil Bear. She wore this hoodie that says, "Got land, thank an Indian" on the back when she went to school, and she was told to take it off because it was offensive. And when she didn't, which already I give her props there for, because as a 13-year-old I wouldn't have been able to say no to a teacher telling me to do something like that, she was sent home. And obviously her parents supported her. If you've seen the news stories, you've seen her family, her amazing family standing around her and supporting her for simply wearing a shirt. But it's not really simply a shirt, is it? It's challenging all of these ideas that Aboriginal people are supposed to be silent about. We're supposed to be silent, and we're supposed to be compliant. We're supposed to be good citizens. But what Neil was doing was disobeying. I've been thinking about obedience a lot. Like I said, with the Chicago O'Hare Airport thing, all these little things that we're told are wrong growing up. And when you're an Indigenous student, you're told you're wrong a lot. And I'm sure a lot of you have had that experience. So this small action, just wearing a shirt, kicked off a worldwide mass media frenzy. And she was attacked for it. That's one of the things I dealt with, especially with the Bedford Road Redmond debacle. Call it a debacle. I would get lots of hateful comments, and I was about 18, I guess, when it started, and I remember just crying and why are people so mad that I'm challenging this? Why are people so mad about this? So for a 13-year-old girl, what kind of society is acceptable to bully a 13-year-old girl for wearing this shirt, to attack her to the point where the police have to start investigations because people are attacking her so much? So if you go to idlenomore.ca/gotland, right now you can download your own stencil of the Got Land Thank an Indian and make a shirt and send us a picture, tag it with Idle No More, and we'll share it. And you can also send Tennille a message to thank her. And I think that's something that's really important. Because when youth are willing to speak out like this, you have to tell them it is the right thing, because they're being told it's not. The idea that some lives matter less is the root of all that's wrong with the world. That's a quote by Paul Farmer, a medical doctor who helped found the organization Partners in Health. One of the reasons I agreed to speak tonight is because I'm good friends with Dr. Ryan Miley, who spoke already, another physician who understands the importance of the environment, the health of humans, and social justice, and the fact that those issues cannot be separated. The idea that some lives matter less is the root of all that's wrong with the world. That's the foundation of Indigenous philosophy in a nutshell for you. Speaking of shells, does anyone know what the Haudenosaunee or Iroquois name for North America is? Shout it out. Turtle Island. I have a turtle pendant here that I'm wearing that I was given. Turtles represent longevity, stability, healing. They represent the earth. So this picture should make you furious. That's one of the things that it's impossible to look at this and not be furious. And if you're not furious, then you need to think about what will it take to make you disobey? What will it take to make you stop listening to the people that say that this is good for our planet? That this will be good for the economy? Because obedience is what has gotten us here. And now to a totally happy note. This is me and some Oskayak students, and some other mentors that work with the Oskayak students. And obviously as an activist, or whatever you want to call it, you can't spend your entire life being exhausted and depressed and sad, because it will kill you. It will literally kill you if you don't take care of yourself. And for me, taking care of myself entails hanging out with amazing Aboriginal youth. This is the reason that I continue doing what I'm doing, because these students at Oskayak, right here, right in this city, this amazing high school that has an ever-growing graduation rate, that has these students that come from all sorts of different backgrounds, and still manage to flourish, and the reason they flourish is because their teachers and their staff love them. They support them. And I've taken on Oskayak as my honorary high school now, because I'm definitely not wanted at Bedford anymore. So I just say I'm an alumni of Oskayak. So yeah, but traveling around has been one of the greatest perks of it, of being with Idle No More, but talking to elders as well, elders and youth. The elders who have been doing this kind of work that Idle No More has been doing for decades. Like you'll see some 90-year-old cookums and mushums running around, like with their protest signs still. They've been doing this stuff their entire lives, so it's nothing new. Resistance is nothing new for Indigenous people, and they don't call themselves activists, is the other weird thing. And I was like, where did that word come from? And these students don't call themselves activists either, because it's something that you have to do to survive. It's something that it's not something you do as a hobby on the side. It's something you do. You just do it because you can't do anything else, because you're fighting for survival. So that's what gives me hope, is these amazing students that come through so much. And you know what? It's interesting, because I've been friends with Max for so long, and I've never actually heard that story he told at the beginning, and I almost started crying. And it's funny, because I had the same experience as him. Even though we grew up in totally sort of different sides of the city, and I always bug him about it. I grew up on the west side, and I always bug him about it, but we grew up with the same experiences because we're First Nations, and because we think the same. And that's something that people need to think about more. That's something, our relations. We need to be prepared to get uncomfortable, because it's so easy to be comfortable, and that's what pictures like this are for. That's what experiences like that are for. You're not supposed to be comfortable. You shouldn't be comfortable with this. And second, you need to remember that we're all relations, from the tiniest turtle down to people all the way across the world. That's what Idle No More stands for, standing for all of creation, no matter how small, because we're all related. And that's what I've learned from doing Idle No More, and that's what I learned from working with these students. And that's what I learned from working with a lot of these people who are here tonight. So thank you very much.